All right, come on. Who's excited for college night? Make some noise. Hoorah, I love it. Man, can we give it up for our amazing worship team? Come on now. And listen, give it up for yourself because y'all sound good. I'm just saying, like some of y'all sound good. Some of y'all not so good. We'll pray about it. No, I'm just playing. Is it beautiful noise to God's ears? You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe not mine. We'll pray. But anyways, man, super excited for tonight. And before we jump into the message too much, I need a guy here. One of y'all. Yeah. 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 All right. What's your name?
Adam.
Make some noise for Adam. All right, Adam, I'm going to ask you to take off your shoes and your socks and take a step into this real quick. Yeah, and your socks, bro, unless you want to stand in ice with your socks on. I mean, it's up to you. You're good? All right. Dang, bro, them stink. Hang on, man, come on now. Oh, he let the dogs out. You know what I'm saying? You go ahead and take it. There you go. You can stand in there. It's just a bucket of ice. Yeah, dig in there, bro. You can't just stand on top. Like, yeah, you got to get in there. All right, yeah, that's all right. All right, cool. That's so weak, bro. You got to get in there. You're at... He's falling in there. All right, so, man, like I said, come on. Who's excited to be at college night? Let's make some noise. He said, I'm going to sit in it. I'm just going to sit in it. But anyway, super excited for tonight. Super excited for what God has in store. How you feel? You good? You're good? All right. They cold? A little bit. All right, sweet. But he said I can keep going, so I'm just going to keep talking and let you enjoy your time. But like I said, I'm truly excited for tonight, truly excited for this year, truly believe it's going to be the best year ever. Come on, make some noise if you want 2024 to be the best year of your life. Come on now. Adam's ain't starting out too good, but it's all right. Mine ain't either because I got to smell his feet. But anyways, yeah, and I truly believe it. I say it all the time. I know I do, but I truly believe it, that God has you here on purpose, for a purpose. You're not here by mistake. You're not here by accident. And believe it, dude, you ain't even here just because that girl came. You know what I'm saying? Like, you may have came because that girl came, and man, I'm glad you're here, but God's getting ready to change your life. So I'm super excited that you're here. And girls, guess what? You didn't come because that guy came, because guess what? Girls don't chase after guys. No, I'm just, facts. That's facts. Hey, listen, ladies, get a guy that chases after you. Anyways, but amen. Valentine's Day's coming up. Amen. I heard someone pray just a little bit. Please let him ask me out. Like I heard it like as we were praying. I was like, oh, Valentine's Day is coming up. You good? You act a little uncomfortable. Are you sure? How you feel? Is it cold? No? No? All right. Is it burn a little bit? Yeah. All right. I ain't going to make you do it anymore. I just did it for fun. You go ahead and get out of it. Yeah, that's it, bro. That's it. I was just doing it for fun. Let's make some noise for Adam. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, there we go. Your feet are a little red. A little bit. So it's burning. It's a little cold. All right. Sweet. Well, thank y'all for coming to college night. So glad y'all were able to make it. Anyways, no, it's cool. You don't win a prize or nothing. You don't have to walk slowly like, oh, is there something? No, there's not. Like, there's really not. I just want to see you in the tub of ice. Anyways, speaking of ice, it made me think, man, my dude broke his arm. Where's he at? Yeah. It ain't your friend, is it? Ice ain't your friend. You know what I'm saying? It's like, ain't your friend. Anyways, he's not a fan. I ain't a fan of it either. It's all right. But Adam, you're laughing, but you ain't a friend. Yellow poles. Not a fan of yellow poles. I don't know. Anyways, but speaking of ice, speaking of all those things, and thinking about you having a sledding accident, I'm so sorry to hear that. Dang yellow pole, right? You know what I'm saying? That's what they're saying. But anyways, thinking of that stuff, it makes me think, though, and I actually got to talk to some people yesterday, coffee on campus, and me and Mason were out there, and we talked to a couple people from Nepal. I don't know if you were able to make it out tonight, but it was awesome. It was great talking to them from Nepal, and one of them was a tour guide, actually, for climbing Mount Everest. And I was like, what? What are you doing here? Like, what do you mean? And I said, do you think I could do it? He said, if you get in shape mentally and physically. And I did. What? I cried for 30 minutes. And, but it's pretty cool, though. I was thinking about that, and I was thinking about this ice and thinking about the cold, because, man, it's been cold out. It's been a little chilly. And I was thinking about it, though. And the reality is, though, with ice, it's really not too fun to stand in, especially barefoot, because it's cold at first, and it starts to, like, sting and burn. It's kind of like this burning sensation. It's like, what in the world is going on? And see, I think, really, this reminds me a lot of, like, Judas. Judas didn't climb Mount Everest, though, but it reminds me of Judas. See, because I want you to think about it. Judas, disciple, knew about Jesus, was there with the other disciples, and since he was with them, would you say that Judas probably heard Jesus preach? You didn't answer. Not a trick question, I promise. I ain't a college professor. I ain't tripping you up to try to get you to fail a test. They do it. Anyways, was Judas there whenever Jesus preached? Yeah. Was Judas there whenever Jesus performed miracles? So Judas was around whenever it took place. But see, I think Judas really had a problem kind of like this ice. See, because if you stand in ice, or if you climb Mount Everest, and something were to happen and you weren't able to get free of the ice or the snow, in under an hour or about an hour, hypothermia begins to take place. And you can get so cold that whenever it takes place, you begin to have like this burning sensation, and it's pretty crazy. That actually, whenever they find people who have died of hypothermia, a lot of times they have found them and they have taken their clothes off, and it's like, what in the world? That doesn't make sense. Why would they do that? But the reality is this, is that they have like this burning sensation inside, and all of this goes to their core, and they get so hot that they're like on fire. They get so hot that they think they're on fire, and I'm afraid that a lot of us are kind of like that we're so hot that we think we're on fire, but you're really not on fire for Jesus. Or you get so cold that you think you're on fire, right? But the reality is you're blinded by your pride, and you have a cold heart and blind eyes, and you're so cold you think you're on fire. Maybe you listen to the messages. Maybe you've seen what Jesus can do. But so did Judas. So are you really on fire for Jesus? If so, why aren't you spreading? Or are you blinded? Are you so cold that you think you're on fire? I want us to look here, John 13. Starting in verse 1, it says this. It was just before the Passover festival. Jesus knew that the hour had come for him to leave this world and go to the Father. Having loved his own who were in the world, he loved them to the end. The evening meal was in progress, and the devil had already prompted Judas, the son of Simon Iscariot, to betray Jesus. Jesus knew that the Father had put all things under his power, that he had come from God and was returning to God. So he got up from the meal, took off his outer clothing, and wrapped a towel around his waist. After that, he poured water into a basin and began to wash his disciples' feet, drying them with a towel that was wrapped around him. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." "No," said Peter, "you shall never wash my feet." Jesus answered, "Unless I wash you, you have no part with me." How's your heart? How is your heart? Is it cold, hard, and full of pride? How's your heart? Really look deep inside of you. How is your heart? How are you? How is your heart? Is your heart like this where honestly you don't even have feeling for people anymore? You show up to church and maybe you even serve, but the reality is you're not loving those around you. How is your heart? Or is it one of a servant? We see here that Jesus, he shows what it's like to be a servant. See, because back then, washing the feet was the lowest of the low. It's the lowest thing you could do. It's something the servants did. That's something that Jesus should not have done. And even the disciples looked down upon it and was like, "I ain't doing that." And see, I'm afraid that we've gotten to this position where it's like, oh, anything for Jesus, but I ain't doing that. See, and that shows a sign of pride, not a servant's heart. See, it was the lowest of the low because their feet were so dirty. It was covered with all this mud and with all this dust and all like even this poop on the ground because they're walking around with them Jesus Force Ones, you know what I'm saying? And they're walking around getting all this stuff on them. And they come into the house and they get their feet washed. And it's the lowest of the low. It's nasty, it's dirty, but I want you to notice this. My first point tonight is this, is you can't truly love Jesus and not be a servant. You can't truly love Jesus and not be a servant. If you truly love Jesus, you can't help but to serve those around you. I want you to realize this. Jesus knew that he had less than a week to live. He knew he was getting arrested the next day. He knew everything he was about to go through. And what's the thing that he did? He humbled himself and served those around him. What would you do? See, we're so selfish oftentimes, and I'm speaking to myself in this as well, that it's all about us. You can't truly love Jesus and not be a servant. See, Jesus is the example that we're to follow. Jesus is the one that we're supposed to follow. So do you really, truly love Jesus? Do you really love Jesus? Are you willing to serve at the lowest point whenever you don't want to and doing the things you don't want to? Do you really love Jesus? Or let's just be honest. Do you love the way the practices of Jesus make you look? Because man, I'm telling you, they'll make you look good. Man, it'll make you look like you really are loving, and that you really are caring, and that you really are a good person, but then you are talking bad about them behind their back. Do you really love Jesus, or do you like the way that the practices of Jesus make you look? And it makes you look good, and you put on this smile on your face, and everybody thinks that you're okay and that you're good, and your family, man, they're so proud of you because you're serving and you're doing all these things. But how's your heart? How's the parts of you that no one else can see? See, do you truly love Jesus, or do you just love yourself? Is Jesus the Lord of your life, or are you? See, because you can't truly love Jesus and not be a servant. But my next point is this, is you can serve and not truly love Jesus. Man, you can Jesus juke me all day. You can fake me out all day, but you can't fake him out. You can come to all the right places, say all the right things, but still have the wrong heart. See, and some of y'all, you come in and you're like, I ain't really about this Jesus thing, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I don't have to fake anybody out. And you're like, but man, Judas saw those things. Bro, that's what I've been asking for. Man, if I could just see Jesus, like if I could just see him, like if I was back then, like yeah, then I would believe, but man, it's a little harder and I just can't do it. Like I just have to see it to believe it. And if I did then, or man, if I just saw some miracles, like real miracles take place, not the ones that can be medically explained, but the ones that really happen, man, then I would believe Jesus. And I say this, no, you wouldn't. Because the same thing that got in the way of Judas is the same thing that's keeping you away from seeing Jesus, and it's that thing called pride. That you have to figure it out, that you have to see it, that you have to prove it. It's not about you. See, because Jesus is moving all around, but you refuse to see him. Because your pride, it will blind you. Do you truly love Jesus? My next point is this, is if you want to know if there's pride in your heart, look at the posture of your life. If you want to know if there's pride in your heart, look at the posture of your life. Are you serving because Jesus commands us to? Because you're supposed to? Like, are you serving because he says that's what to do? That if Jesus says it, then that settles it. I'm doing it even if I don't want to. Jesus, you're a Lord of my life, so I'm going to. Are you serving because that's what Jesus commands you to do? Or let's be honest, are you just serving because of the comment section on the post that you make after you serve? Man, it looks good, don't it? It looks good. Man, you look happy. Man, it feels good. There's nothing wrong with feeling good. There's nothing wrong with those things. What's wrong is whenever you do it for that and not for Jesus. If you want to know if there's pride in your heart, look at the posture of your life. Or are you too proud to allow someone to serve you like Peter was? Oh, no. Once I get it all together, once I get this figured out, then, Jesus, you can wash my feet. No. You don't want to touch my feet. It's way too dirty. It's way too messy. No. You don't want to. Like Jesus didn't understand. Are you way too proud for Jesus to wash your feet that you feel like you have to have it all together? Because my next point is this, is that pride wants to get in the way of you experiencing and sharing Jesus. Because there's that dark side of pride. Well, no, it's fine. And you play it off as humility. But pride, it wants you to keep you away from experiencing and sharing Jesus. It wants to keep you bound to that sin. It wants to keep you bound that you've been too bad or that you're too dirty. And it's that darker side that you think that you can get it together. That you can take it and handle it and do it on your own. That you can clean it up. That you can make yourself good. That you can make yourself clean. How's your heart? Do you truly love Jesus? How's the posture of your life? Why haven't you allowed Jesus to cleanse you? He goes on there, continuing on in verse 9. It says, then Lord, Simon Peter replied, not just my feet, but my hands and my head as well. Jesus answered, those who have had a bath need only to wash their feet. Their whole body is clean. And you are clean, though not every one of you. For he knew who was going to betray him, and that was why he said not everyone was clean. When he had finished washing their feet, he put on his clothes and returned to the place. And, do you understand what I've done for you? He asked them. You call me teacher and Lord, and rightly so. That is what I am. Now that I, your Lord and teacher, have washed your feet, you also should wash one another's feet. I have set you an example that you should do as I have done for you. Very truly, I tell you, no servant is greater than his master, nor is a messenger greater than the one who sent him. Now that you know these things, you will be blessed if you do them. My next point is this: if you want to share Jesus, you must humble yourselves and serve like Jesus. When's the last time you served someone? And not whenever it's been comfortable. Not whenever it's been all set up for you. When's the last time that you served someone that you've had to humble yourself and say, it's not about me? Man, I don't want to, but because of God's love, I'm going to. When's the last time that you served someone with a pure heart, not a pride-filled one? When's the last time you served someone? When's the last time that the main focus wasn't on you, what you wanted, how you wanted it, and when you wanted it? It was for those around you. If you want to share Jesus, you must humble yourselves and serve like Jesus. As I come to a close here tonight, I want to ask you, have you humbled yourself? Or has pride blinded you? Because pride will blind you. Have you humbled yourself? See, because if you want to experience Jesus, you must humble yourself. How's your heart? Is it a pure heart or a pride-filled one? How's your heart? How's the posture of your life? When's the last time you served someone? When's the last time you loved someone the way Jesus has? When's the last time you stepped out of your comfort zone? See, because I don't want you to be so cold that you think you're on fire. But I want you to be on fire for Jesus. Because whenever you're so cold that you think you're on fire, you end up dying. And you wonder why so many people, so many Christians are leaving the church. It's because they did it all based off of a feeling and not the faith and trust in Jesus. Are you on fire for Jesus? Look around you. Are you spreading? Is there hope around you? Whenever people look at you, do they see Jesus inside of you? Do you look more like the world or more like Jesus? How's your heart? And see, some of you all come in here tonight and you need to give your life to Jesus. I truly believe it. Whether you're just checking the whole Jesus thing out and you're like, I'm not sure. Listen, I want you to keep coming back. And thank you for coming. But man, I can't let you leave without telling you that tomorrow's not promised. That checking this whole Jesus thing out isn't good enough. That there's this place called heaven and there's this place called hell. And if you don't know him, if you haven't surrendered your life to him, that if something were to happen to you, you would go to hell. Everyone says whenever you die, you go to a better place, but that's not always true. Tomorrow's not promised. Jesus is coming back. Are you ready? Maybe you're here and you've been doing this whole thing. But if you're being honest, the Lord's revealed to you that your heart has been hardened, and that you have a pride-filled heart and you haven't fully surrendered your life to him. That you do all the right things, but you don't truly follow Jesus. That you know about Jesus, but you don't truly know Jesus. That you're more about religion than a relationship with him. Tonight, will you humble yourself? Before him, will you humble yourself so you can experience him? Will you humble yourself? And allow Jesus to cleanse you. Will you give your life to Jesus? It's the best thing you could ever do. Will you give your life to Jesus? Will you surrender your life to Jesus? Will you declare him as Lord of your life? Brandon, you don't understand what I've done. You don't get it. There's no way that he could love me. There's no way that he really died for me. You don't understand what I've said. You don't understand what I've tried. You don't understand what I've watched. You don't understand my past. You don't understand the family that I came from. You don't understand anything about me. You don't understand how bad and how sinful I really am. You don't understand what I did right before I came here. And maybe I don't, but he does, and he still said that you were worth dying for. And he still wants to cleanse you. He still wants to wash you clean. It doesn't matter how dirty. It doesn't matter how messed up. It doesn't matter what you've walked through, because I want you to know that Jesus, he got down and he washed their feet. He knew exactly what they were going to do. He knew exactly everything they had done, just like he knew everything you were going to do. Just like he knows everything you have done. He looked at Thomas as he was washing his feet. And he was cleansing his feet. And I can see him just sitting there. He's going, Thomas, I love you so much. Thomas, I know you're gonna doubt me, but I love you so much, and I want you to know, even though you doubt him, he still loves you, and he wants to cleanse you. I know he looked at Peter, and he's like, Peter, bro, you're a wildcat, man. Oh. I love you so much, Peter. And listen, I know that you told me, Lord, I love you. Lord, I love you. Lord, I love you. But Peter, even though I know you're going to deny me 3 times, I still love you and I still want to wash you clean. Even though you've denied him in the past, I want you to know that he still loves you and he still wants to wash you clean. But even Judas, the one who betrayed him, the one who handed him over to be killed, to be nailed on a cross, to take the punishment that we're so deserving of, he washed his feet. Judas, I love you. I know you're going to betray me. I know it's you that's going to be the one, the reason that I'm going to be crucified on the cross. But Judas, I love you. And that's you and me. We're the reason that he took the nails in his hands. We're the reason that he took the beating. You're the reason. We're the reason that he had the crown of thorn on his head. We're the reason that he took this pain and this suffering and died on a cross. But he looks at us. He says, hey, I love you. Hey, I love you. Just allow me to cleanse you. Hey, I'm dying for you. Please don't run from me. I'm dying for you. I'm here for you. I want to cleanse you. I know everything that you've done. I know everything you're going to do, but you're worth dying for. I love you. Will you allow him to wash you clean? You don't have to have it all together. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to clean yourself up. Only Jesus can do that. You don't have to carry that weight anymore. You don't have to be hopeless anymore. You don't have to have that eating disorder anymore. You don't have to feel unloved anymore. You don't have to feel like you're not cared about anymore. You don't have to carry that shame and that pain and that guilt anymore, but tonight you can lay it at the feet of Jesus and allow him to cleanse you with his blood. See, Jesus died so that we could live. Will you humble yourself? Die to yourself to live for him. I'm going to ask you if you would close your eyes and bow your heads. Will you allow Jesus to cleanse you? Will you allow Jesus to cleanse you? Some of us are here tonight, and like I said, some of y'all, you've never fully given your life to Jesus. You haven't declared him as Lord of your life. Tonight, we declare him as Lord of your life. Will you surrender to him? You've been playing church for way too long. Will you surrender to him? Will you lay it at his feet? All that shame that no one else even knows about, he does. And he died for it. Will you surrender it to him? tonight you're ready to surrender to Jesus and declare him as Lord of your life, I'm going to ask you to pray this with me. And listen, a prayer won't save you. But if you believe it in your heart, you can confess it with your mouth that Jesus is Lord. I'm just going to ask you to pray and just say, God, I'm sorry. God, I've sinned. God, I've messed up. God, I've made mistakes. But Jesus, I believe. Jesus, I believe that you came. Jesus, I believe that you died. And Jesus, I believe that 3 days later, you rose from the grave, defeating death and its sting. I repent. I turn from my old ways. And Jesus, I turn to you. I declare you as Lord of my life. I surrender it all to you. Please forgive me.